At the beginning of every year, we promise that we will go to the gym and fit ourselves. We will finally develop the habit of reading books. We will finally get rid of the bad habit of smoking. But unfortunately, most people do not develop any meaningful habit for the rest of their lives. What is the reason for this? The second important question is there any secret recipe, any secret formula, which we can follow to adopt meaningful and better habits for our lives? What should I do so that when I get used to a good thing, I don't miss it for the rest of my life? So friends, don't worry. In today's very important discussion, I will tell you some points that will help you to adopt good habits. There will be a discussion on some things that will change your life. But friends, there is a twist in this. I am not alone in today's discussion. I will be joined by an author whose book on human habits is the best book in the history of this world. I am talking about James Clear, and the name of this book is Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits, the punch of this book is hidden in its title, and that is atomic. But what is the meaning of this word? In the context of this book, atomic means very small, tiny, very less. But what does this word atomic have to do with our habits? See, the whole game is about this word atomic. The first learning of this book is that very small, tiny little changes lead to big results. I will give you a small example of this. Imagine a plane takes off from Los Angeles and its destination is New York City. The pilot has set everything perfectly, checked all the controls, and finally took off. As soon as the plane took off, the pilot accidentally changed the direction of the plane by only 5 degrees, and this movement was so negligible that neither the pilot nor the passengers could notice it. But this small 3.5 degree change changes the whole game. Instead of landing in New York City, the plane lands in Washington, D.C. The purpose of giving this example was that we do not give importance to small changes in our life. We wait for a big event in our life, then our life will change. Neither is it a big event, nor does our life ever change. Here I want to give you the first hook of our video. If you seriously want to improve your life, then start working on small habits every day. For example, if you want to develop a reading habit, then you know that my mathematics of reading formula is quite famous, in which I told you that by reading for 12.5 minutes every day, you will be able to finish a book in a month. Similarly, if you keep saving only 333 every day, then by the end of the year you will have about 120,000 rupees. And if you start investing it, then this amount will keep getting compounded. Similarly, if you apply this example on your health, then where you do not work out, you start jogging for 15 to 20 minutes, start going to the gym, start walking in the park, then you will gradually become healthy. There is a very interesting formula behind it, which is something like this. If you keep getting 1% improvement in any habit, any task or overall in your life, then after 365 days, you will be 37% better than yourself. And like this flight, if you keep getting 1% decline in your daily life, then by the end of the year, you will only have 3% of your potential. That means you will be almost dead. Isn't it an amazing learning? Isn't it a life-changing equation? But the question is, if it is so easy, then why can't we develop our habits? Why can't we improve 1% every day? I'll give you a logical reasoning for this too, and I'll give you that too with a graph. This graph is called the plateau of latent potential. In this, if you see that whenever we go to develop a new habit, then in our mind, we expect that we will have these expected results, which are in a straight line. For example, if we start going to the gym, then we expect that our body will be ready in 2 months. Or if we start dieting, then we expect that we will lose weight in 10 days. Or if we start reading books, then we expect that we will acquire all the knowledge of the world in 2 months. But my friends, in reality, in practical life, this does not happen. Whenever we want to develop a new habit, then for a long time, for many months, and even for many years, we are not able to show any progress. And when this happens, then we fall in the valley of disappointment. We expect what we have done, and the actual results do not match it. We get discouraged, demotivated, and heartbroken. We feel that we will never be able to reach our goal. Here you have to always remember one thing of mine. Write this down in your room. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. You will never be able to develop a habit, and you will not be able to achieve better results than that until you think long-term. You have to be determined and committed for a long period of time. Bookbiddies, my observation of life is that very big intellectuals, very big intelligent people, logical people who have a lot of knowledge, they are not able to go so far in life. The reason for this is that somewhere or the other, they do not have perseverance. They are not committed long-term behind a particular idea. Whereas, on the other hand, an average intellectual who does not even have so much intelligence, just because of his perseverance and long-term commitment, he goes very far in life. This is what you have to do with your habits. Work on yourself on a daily basis. And this is the promise of a bookbiddy, that you will eventually be successful. After this first hook, the next obvious question is that how do these habits come about? A 19th century psychologist, Edward Thorndike, tried to answer this question. Thorndike put some cats in a black box and then timed how long it takes them to get out of that black box. They started running around in that box and desperately tried to get out of there. There was a lever in this black box, which, if the cat pulled, it would eventually get out of there. Well, some of the cats discover the lever, pull it, and get out of the box. Thorndike repeats this experiment again, this time with the same cats who pressed the lever for the first time. Then for a while, the cats scramble, eventually discover the lever, and get out of the black box. These cats are put back in the black box. Till the time, the situation is that within 6 seconds, they get out of the box by pressing the lever. That is, they get to know, they get used to it, what they have to do to get out of their dot with this experiment. Thorndike discovered a very important thing. He saw that if you want to develop any habit, then the associated reward should be very favorable and powerful, which in this case was freedom of the cats. Therefore, if you want to develop any habit in life, then you have to make the consequences associated with it favorable. From this point, we move to the third very important hook of this book, which is the habit loop. There are 4 steps of the habit loop: cue, craving, response, reward. For example, when you enter a dark room, first of all, you desire to see something. This is your trigger or cue. Craving is that you want to change your state. You want all this darkness to disappear and light up this room. This craving creates a response in you, that you raise your hand towards the switch and turn it on. And the reward is that as soon as you press the switch, there is light in the room. And deep inside, you unconsciously feel a joy. Friends, remember these 4 steps, because these 4 steps will help you the most in your habit formation. But understand this a little more deeply. Now let me give you an example. Our channel is about books, information, and improving yourself. So, let's talk about the habit of reading books. It's been a long time you've been trying to read books, but your heart doesn't want to. The reason for this is that your trigger point is not right. So, the first thing that you need to do is make it obvious to read a book. You don't have to go to another room. You don't have to go to a bookstore. The book should always be available in front of you. So, your first trigger point for reading can be that you keep 2 to 3 books on your bedside. I also do the same. There are a lot of books on the side table next to my bed. Whenever I go to sleep or whenever I go to bed, I select one of those books. Similarly, there are 1 to 2 books in my laptop as well, so that when I'm sitting at the airport or waiting somewhere, I can take the laptop out of the bag and read that book. Similarly, you will find books on my office table, books in my car, and in my study as well, so that whenever I'm free, the first thing I see are those books. So, in order to develop the habit, you need to make it obvious. To make this cue more concrete, I'm going to give you a trick, which is called implementation intentions. Usually, we are not able to develop any habit because the communication associated with it in our mind is very vague. I want to read books. I want to read 1 book. I want to read 10 books. When do I want to read? How long do I want to read? How many pages do I want to read? We don't know that. Therefore, implementation intention says that whatever goal you have, whatever habit you have, you want to quit smoking, you want to start going to the gym, you have to define it, make it concrete. For example, you can say that every day at 10 p.m. post my dinner, I'll read 10 pages of any book for 30 minutes. Now this is a definite statement, which will force you to pick up the book at this time. Or you can say that from Monday to Friday, I'll go to the gym for 30 minutes between 8 to 8:30 p.m. Now this will also be a definite statement. Rather than you saying that I want to go to the gym, the stronger your implementation intention is, the more chances you have that your habit is concrete. Therefore, do work on it. Make it definite and concise. After this, the second stage is that you have to make that habit attractive. In 1954, 2 neuroscientists, James Olds and Peter Miller, ran an interesting experiment on human desire. Through some electrodes, they restricted the dopamine neurotransmitter in rats. Dopamine is a chemical associated with pleasure and motivation in our body. When the dopamine in those rats stopped, the will to live in them was over. They didn't enjoy anything to the extent that they became bored with life. A few days after this experiment, those rats died of thirst. It is a bit of a disturbing experiment. However, neuroscientists came to know a very important thing about human psychology. And that is that in life, motivation, pleasure, and dopamine are very important. The more attractive a thing is, the more the probability of repeating it increases. But how can you make book reading attractive? For this too, I will tell you a trick which is called temptation bundling. Temptation bundling is a great technique in which you pair something that you want to do with something that you should do. So, want to do can be your guilty pleasure and should do can be your reading habit. But how to blend these two? A great example of this is that you like tea or coffee a lot, but you will only deserve this tea or your favorite cappuccino when you have a book in your hand. So what you are doing is that you are relating the activity of the book with your favorite activity, blending it, associating it. In this way you will be able to drink tea and also be able to read a book, or the room in which you are reading. Make it so cozy, so romantic, so awesome, so comfortable that you look forward to coming in that room every day. Or you can do this, that I will only be able to use social media when I can read a book for 30 minutes every day. So essentially what you are doing is you are dovetailing to habits, one that you really want to do and one that you should do. In this way your chances of habit development will increase. By the way, this is also called habit stacking. To develop any habit, you need to make it easy. That is, the friction between you and that habit should be minimal. This rule of make it easy, you can also apply to end your bad habits. For instance, you used to watch a lot of TV, or you were always connected to your mobile. Now what you have to do is that instead of making these habits easy, you need to make them very difficult. Remove the TV switch, remove the batteries from the remote. Do anything that will increase the friction between you and the TV, or if you're always connected to your mobile, increase the friction between you and the mobile. Keep the password so difficult, so long that you feel like you have to enter the password again and use the mobile again. Turn off the mobile notifications, turn off the Wi-Fi data after 9 o'clock at night. All of these things will help you get rid of your bad habits. And finally, make it satisfying. Whatever habit you want to develop, whichever habit you want to adopt lifelong, you need to make sure that you make it satisfying. Associate some reward with it so that you keep on coming back to it again and again. So book buddies, we have learned how to develop habits. From this book, Atomic Habits, I have adopted another great thing which I have also applied in my life, and that is habit tracking. In this, all you have to do is to develop a framework in which you have to monitor the habits you want to develop, whether you are following them or not. In today's world, you can use any Excel sheet, any mobile app, so that you know that what you are doing. Are you on track or not? I simply use a notebook in which I write which good habits I want to develop and which habits I want to abandon, and I regularly keep a track of them. Remember, anything that cannot be measured is worth nothing in this. The book, James Clear has talked about another path-breaking thing which is very counterintuitive. We are taught all our life that we should have goals and objectives. We should have a goalpost which we should strive to achieve. James Clear says that these are useless things. Never set goals. In fact, set habits, set a system. But what does this mean? He writes that the goal-driven approach has some loopholes and some problems. For example, in Olympics or any other sport, athletes have only one goal, that they have to be the winner. But in every race there is a first and a last. Therefore, winners and losers have the same goal. This means that there is no difference between winning and losing. So, instead of focusing on winning, if you are a racer or an athlete, you should fall in love with the process. Instead of aspiring to be number one, you should say that you want to be a great athlete. The second problem with goal setting is that it is fleeting. You have decided on something, you have played a game or a sport or participated in a competition. You came first, you enjoyed it. Eventually it all fizzles away. On the other hand, instead of falling in love with the goal, if you fall in love with the system or the process, this will become a part of your identity. For example, you want to learn guitar. Shouldn't your goal be to learn guitar? Your goal should be that you want to be a musician. Only then you will be able to develop a lifelong habit. Another problem with goal setting is that it restricts your happiness. Until you achieve it, no matter how many months or years it takes, you won't be able to enjoy it. On the other hand, if you make the system a part of your identity and your personality, you will enjoy the entire process by doing this. Even if you don't win the race, come first. Even if you don't win the competition, at least you enjoyed the process. The last major problem with goal setting is that it is at odds with long-term progress. You strived for something, worked hard, struggled. Eventually, when the goal was achieved, you gave it up. Let me dovetail this with my YouTube journey. Instead of running after subscribers, I have made a goal that I want to produce 2 to 3 videos a week. I have made this system a part of my personality and identity so that I can continue this thing lifelong rather than running after specific milestones. Last and most impactful lesson of this book is about behavior change. It talks about 3 layers of behavior change. One is outcome-based, one is process-based, and one is identity-based. Outcome-based behavior change is like you set a goal to lose 4 kilograms weight in Ramadan, or I want to publish my book this year, or I want to get a promotion by the end of 2025. Now this is task-based or outcome-based behavior change. Usually, it is not that long-term. If you achieve one thing, the behavior eventually dies down. The second is process-based behavior change. In this, you follow the process to achieve that outcome. You adopt any habit which I told you earlier. And lastly is identity-based behavior change. This is the most long-term and fruitful because in this, you are changing your identity. You are changing your identity. You are changing your belief system, your attitude, and most importantly, your thought process, your personality. And once you make anything a part of your personality, your attitude, your nature, then it becomes very difficult to move away from it. So try not to set a goal to lose weight. Set a goal that you have to be fit. Don't set a goal that you have to read so many books in a month or a year. Set a goal that you have to become a reader. Don't set a goal that you have to learn guitar or piano. Set a goal that you have to be a musician. Don't set a goal that you have to become a YouTube influencer and get so many subscribers. Set a goal that you have to produce 2 to 3 videos every week. By doing this, you will be able to develop those habits which will eventually make you a successful human being. Friends, these small habits will eventually add up and compound to make you successful. Now you have to make a list of those habits which you want to adopt or which you think will make your life better, and start eliminating those habits. Start destroying them, start abandoning them which are taking you down. Eventually, friends, remember that whatever happens to you in life has a very deep connection with your habits. Never forget this. If you liked the video, do press the like button. Until next time, goodbye.